Welcome to today's video. This is level A2, Unit 24, Lesson 2. In this lesson, we're going to be learning should, shouldn't, and have to, and then you'll be learning how to use these phrases to give travel advice. All right, so what are some of the things that you do before traveling? You might buy a plane ticket online, apply for a visa, get some local currency, pack your bag, and book your accommodations. All right, we're going to read about the different types of travelers, and then I'd like you to decide which kind of traveler are you. So you can pause the video and read this on your own, or you can follow along as I read. The organize everything traveler. You pay a travel agent to take care of everything flight, accommodations, sightseeing trips. You usually have a professional guide who shows you around places. The where am I traveler. You know when your flight home is, but you haven't planned anything else. You have a lot of time to travel. The most important things you travel with are your credit card and the data on your phone. The package tour traveler. You travel with a group of people who have the same itinerary. Generally, there is a plan for each day, and the plan usually includes some time for you to do your own thing. And the online app traveler. You look for travel tickets and accommodations online. You download and use apps to help you get around a new city. You read reviews of local restaurants and often visit them. Okay, and then where are you on the traveler's spectrum? So, a person who likes to relax all the time would be down here at the chilled out. This person maybe does some light shopping. They're kind of also on the relaxed end of the scale. Somebody who's a little more adventurous might want to, do a bicycle trip. And a person who's an adrenaline junkie would be someone who loves to do these extreme activities like rock climbing or bungee jumping, skydiving, things like that. Okay, Mikhail is going to cycle around Spain for a month. And so read these tips and then think about which ones that you think are good tips for Mikhail. Check your bike every morning, ride on the right hand side of the road, carry food and water, pack swimming goggles, take a bicycle repair kit, buy a local SIM card, or don't ride at night. So, what do you think? These are kind of just your opinions. All right, so tips for touring. We're going to read the advice of an experienced cyclist. You can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Europe is perfect for cycling adventures. Though Europe is safe for traveling, there are a few extra things you should do if you're planning a vacation on two wheels. Check your bike every morning. You should make sure your bike works perfectly each and every day. Check your brakes and your seat. Don't forget to check your tires every day. It's important that your tires are inflated properly. Don't get caught without lights. Make sure that your lights are working first thing in the morning. Carry food and water. Europe is full of wonderful villages with stores and bakeries, but you can't get a croissant at just any hour of the day. In rural Europe, stores often close between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. You can't ride well when you are hungry or thirsty. It's especially important to stay hydrated, so you should carry a lot of water. All right, so what can you remember? What was mentioned and why? These are different parts of the bike. You have the pannier, which is basically a carrying case, a pump, the pedals, repair kit, the brakes, the seat, the handlebars, the light, water, and the tires. Some of the things that were mentioned were the seat, you want to check that every day. Make sure that you have lights, plenty of water, and that your tires are properly inflated. All right, giving advice. We use should and shouldn't for giving advice. We often use should and shouldn't to express I think it's a good idea or I think it's a bad idea. So you should eat fruits and vegetables. I think it's a good idea to eat these things. You shouldn't drink a lot of coffee. I think it's a bad idea to drink a lot of coffee. Remember that have to expresses obligation. Have to also shows necessity. You have to be at the meeting at 5 o'clock. This is necessary. And you should be at the meeting at 5 p.m. It's a good idea. We use should plus the bare infinitive like we use it with have to, can, and going to. So you should drink a lot of water, but you wouldn't say you shouldn't to sit all day. So you don't need the to on the infinitive. So it's you should drink or you shouldn't drink. So don't add the to. All right, so in the second part of the article, the travel expert shares more tips. And so, what do you think the author is going to give advice about? What advice? Riding at night in Europe, items to pack in your luggage, or staying in contact with friends and family? You might just take a guess and then continue. All right, again, these are some additional tips for touring. You can pause the video, read on your own, or follow along as I read. Take a bicycle repair kit. Carry a small kit to repair punctures. Almost every cyclist gets one or two punctures on a cycling vacation. In your kit, make sure you have extra batteries for your bike lights too. Buy a local SIM card. When you buy a SIM card with data in any country of the European Union, you can use the data across all of the European Union. You don't have to have a SIM card, but it's handy to have data if you need to locate the nearest hotel, bank, or hospital. And of course, you'll want to stay in touch with people from home. Don't ride at night. No matter how experienced you are, don't ride at night. Most roads in Europe are in excellent condition, but you can't be so sure about roads in rural areas. Also, riding at night is dangerous because cars and trucks don't expect to see bikes on the road at these hours, so beware. All right, the author provided a lot of information, and are these statements below true or false? You can take a few minutes, pause the video, answer the questions, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, according to the author of the article, you shouldn't eat between 1 and 4 p.m. That is false. They actually said that some stores close between those hours, but they didn't say that you shouldn't eat. You shouldn't carry a lot of water. That's also false. You have to stay hydrated, so it's important to carry a lot of water. You should carry a small bicycle repair kit. That is true. You shouldn't buy a phone card in Europe. That's false. It said that you didn't have to, but it could be a good idea to have one. You should carry extra batteries for your bike lights. That's true. And you should ride at night. That is false. All right, so what is the advice in each sentence? So you want to change the sentences using should or shouldn't. So here's an example. Riding at night is dangerous. You shouldn't ride at night. So take a few moments and try those sentences and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so number 1, it's a good idea to take a break every 2 hours. That would be you should take a break every 2 hours. Check your tires every morning. You should check your tires every morning. 3, book your accommodation before 5 p.m. each day. Villages often only have one small hotel. So you should book your accommodation before 5 p.m. each day. It's a bad idea to eat a lot of food in the morning, so you shouldn't eat a lot of food in the morning. Don't start your day without 2 full bottles of water on your bike. You shouldn't start your day without 2 full bottles of water. It's necessary to carry clothes for rainy days. So that would be, you should carry clothes for rainy days. And you will meet a lot of other cyclists. They are a good source of information. You should ask other cyclists for information. All right, so Hans gives some advice, and we'll listen to Hans and then answer the questions.
Yes, I agree that you should always carry plenty of water. You can't get far if you are thirsty, and you shouldn't ride if you are dehydrated. You should always carry a small repair kit too. I've had many punctures while riding. Also, you should know how to maintain other things on your bike, especially the brakes. You shouldn't ride at night. Everyone knows that. Also, you shouldn't ride in bad weather. Strong winds, rain, and fog are dangerous for cyclists. Many people think that you don't experience bad weather in summer, but this is false. If you ride along the coast or through a forest, fog and mist can come at any time. You should always stay warm, so make sure you also have clothing that protects you from the rain and cold winds.
All right, so what does Hans advise about carrying water? He says that you should carry plenty of water in order to stay hydrated. What's his advice about the bike brakes? He says that you should have a repair kit and be able to check the brakes and make sure they're working correctly. And what does he say about the weather? He says you should be prepared for bad weather and be sure that you have clothes that protect you from the weather. All right, so now we're going to listen to Amelia. It says she provides 4 pieces of advice, so you'll be listening for what those pieces of advice are.
You should definitely carry at least 2 water bottles, and I recommend that you always have some protein bars, nuts, and dried fruit. I've arrived in many villages in the afternoon and couldn't find a place to eat. Even the corner stores are closed. You shouldn't cycle alone. It's much better to ride with at least one other person. If something goes wrong, it's easier to get help when there are 2 of you. You should always tell people where you are going. Send messages and texts to people back home. Let them know where you are.
Okay, so her 4 pieces of advice. So 1, you should carry water. You should also carry snacks like fruit, nuts, like protein bars, nuts, and dried fruit. You shouldn't ride alone. And you should always tell people where you're going. So you should let people at home know where you are going. All right, now, what advice does Diane give, and how many things does she talk about?
You should try to learn some basic words of the language of the country you are in. A bonjour or buenos dias doesn't do much, but it's friendly and it's better than always speaking in English. And if you're traveling in Europe, you should visit the hundreds of little restaurants and cafes everywhere. You need to eat healthy food when you go on a cycling vacation, but you should enjoy yourself too. When you book a hotel, you should explain that you are traveling by bike. Most hotels in Europe let you put your bike in a storage room, but it's a good idea to check in advance. And of course, you should always lock your bike safely, even if it's in a storage room. Sometimes the storage rooms are not locked.
All right, so she talked about 4 things. She said that you should try to learn at least a few words in the local language. Visit small cafes and restaurants. When you book a hotel, let them know you are traveling by bike. And always lock your bike safely. All right, so now think about an activity that you have done many times and you know well, and give some advice. Think about what are some important things to remember. Do you need to check anything online? Do you need to speak to anyone? And what do you need to pack? And then write that advice down using should or shouldn't. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, share, and if you have any questions, leave those for me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.